What's up YouTube? This is Stanford Bear coming at you with a new shoe review video. I honestly haven't done one in quite some time, and that's largely because I've been super busy and no shoe has really been amazing or mind-blowing that made me feel like an obligation to review them until now. So without further ado, these are my latest pickup, the Nike Zoom VaporFly 4%. These came out about a week ago for US $250, and I think basically they almost sold out instantly online at most websites that had them, including Nike. And that's because a lot of you runners out there have been waiting for this shoe for quite some time. This is the shoe that is based on the custom version of the athletes that basically went for the marathon record and breaking it. So, you know, lots of new tech in these particular shoes. I know they look very similar to a shoe that came out not too long ago, the Nike Zoom Flies, but lots of big differences even though they look similar. And the biggest difference is probably right here, the midsole, the cushioning system. In the Zoom Flies, you would think that you would use Zoom cushioning, but they actually used, I think, Lunarlon cushioning. So nothing new really there. Lunarlon's been around for a long time. You know, this was an iteration of it. Basically, the Lunar Epics were really popular. Lunarlon definitely is a good cushioning. It's soft and plush, but I would say not super responsive. Now, the VaporFlies are a whole nother story. The second you put these on, you're gonna feel that energy return. Very similar to Boost, but much more responsive in my opinion, and actually better suited for running, at least my style of running. I am not a marathon runner by any means, so I'll just put that disclaimer out there right now. I am a casual runner. I run every day almost. And I'm older, so I don't run as far as I used to. I probably do like max, like a 5K. You know, and if I'm lazy, I'll run like just, you know, 2-3 miles at best on a daily basis. If I'm, you know, my schedule will not permit longer runs. So I am not a marathon runner. These are for casual running for me. But they are awesome. You know, I have a lot of running shoes because, you know, as you get older, you know, your knees start to hurt more with longer distances and you want a lot of cushioning. So just for some comparison, you know, I have the Lunar Epics, of course. They're pretty good, but still not the best. I have a bunch of shoes like that use the Boost-like technology. These are the Saucony ISOs in the Boston colorway. Very responsive, but not the best impact protection in my opinion. I do occasionally run in Boost as well. Boost is really soft and cushiony, but I feel like the impact protection is not actually the best. It starts to bottom out after a while, and it's a little not that responsive in my opinion. I have run in the Vapor Maxes. These are much firmer, of course, but you know, again, not super responsive. And then I know Nike's got this new technology. It's probably just worth mentioning. These are basketball shoes. These are Hyper Dunks, but I think they're going to put the same type of cushioning that's you know, embedded in the midsole here, which is the new Nike React cushioning. And my 2 cents about, you know, just having worn these for a little bit, the React cushioning is kind of like a weaker version of charged foam, I would say, from Under Armour. Not super responsive, not super plush. So if you see running shoes eventually that have the React cushioning, I would personally avoid it if you want something more responsive. So I hope Nike really starts using the ZoomX cushioning, because it is amazing. You know, these are super lightweight. As soon as you step in them, you feel that really bouncy, kind of trampoline-like effect in the shoe itself. And it's just hard to describe. I've never worn a pair of shoes like this before. You know, kind of like Boost on steroids, I would say. But a bit more about the shoe itself. Very minimal upper. The outsole tread patterns, I think similar to the VaporFly. The midsole is, you know, basically 2 different layers of the ZoomX cushioning. And then in the middle here, this black carbon fiber plate that kind of gives you that extra spring forward when you're running. This material here, the ZoomX, it's going to crease. Actually, it came like this. It was already all creased. So if you're caring about the aesthetics and you don't want it to crease, well, that's kind of impossible. They actually come like this from Nike. I know colorways, there's only 2 so far. There's this color, and then there's like a darker gray bluish color, which that was my first choice, but I couldn't get them. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, you know, I had originally thought I had to return these based on the fact that all the reviewers online said that, you know, these fit super big. You have to go half size down, or maybe even a full size down from your usual Nike size. That's totally not the case, at least for me. So, you know, in all the other runners that I have, these are all 10.5, and all of my Nikes are basically 10.5, maybe a few, like the Hyper Dunks and the KD 9s and KD 10s and other basketball shoes I wear 10. But in all running shoes I wear 10.5. And, you know, for runners, you know that you want the fit to basically be like at least a thumb's width between the very tip of the shoe and the tip of your longest toe. And for me, that's how these fit. Because, you know, like your foot's going to swell when you run longer distances. And even me, like I'm a casual short distance runner. After my morning run today, like I only had half a thumb's width between the tip and the tip of my big toe. So for foot swell purposes and, you know, toe splay and all that goodness, you're going to want to probably go with your usual Nike running shoe size. Other than that, you know, if you're going to go for casual use, yeah, maybe go half a size down if you're not going to worry about, you know, running and foot swelling. I will give a more detailed review later. You know, I've just run a few miles in these, but definitely my favorite running shoe by far right now. Hope this was helpful. Go out there and try to get a pair. Enjoy.